If you have an older sibling, you may have gotten your ass beat in a match of Mortal Kombat because your brother, portrayed by Chris Bumstead of course, decided he needed to feel superior to an 8-year-old. While you're sat there with your controller in your stupid tiny little hands, you feel defeated. Man, I wish I could play with this guy instead of against him. Enter cooperative video games. Cooperative video games allow players to work together as teammates, usually against one or more non-player character opponents. Yeah, whatever that means. So your brother changes the mode, and for the first time, instead of your brother beating your ass in Mortal Kombat, you're both beating up this stupid fucking robot in this big ass box. Like, what the fuck, dude? Me and my dearest best brother against this evil artificial intelligence? I don't even know what artificial intelligence is. I'm 8 years old. It's 1972. Atari just released Pong and things are getting pretty crazy. A year later they realized, hey, what if we had 4 people playing Pong at once? And everyone was like, ooh yeah, you should totally do that. And they called it Pong Doubles. After that they made a bunch of other Pongs like Super Pong, Quadra Pong, and Jimmy's dirty ass bong. Jesus Christ, dude, you need to clean that thing. But my point is, Pong Doubles allowed you to play with a person against a person S. But what if you remove the person S and instead play against an artificial intelligence that will one day become sentient and kill us all? This is what's called PvE, aka player versus environment. Not to be mistaken with PvP or SCP, definitely not PCP, which of course stands for piss, cock, and P. I am an 8-year-old. Pong may have had you cooperate with your fellow, but it was still against 2 real people. So then in 1978, Atari released Fire Truck, the first co-op game ever, where you drive a fire truck with one person controlling the tractor and pedals and the other controlling the swing of the trailer. The game wasn't really that great, but come on man, it's 1978 and you're both handling a freaking fire truck? Dude, how is that not cool? Co-op games quickly began to develop, and now you can be the Luigi to my Mario, the Dojam to my Earl, the Doom guy to my Doom guy, and now we can finally get into modern co-op. Some games were designed from the ground up with co-op in mind, while others were like, okay, so we get a full single player campaign with one playable protagonist in the story. But what if we had 2 of them? Holy shit, Joey, you're so smart, I should freaking kiss you right now. Developers realized that if you just slide co-op into a game, it guarantees that some people will buy it just to play with a friend, getting them one more sale. Because these games weren't made specifically for co-op, you and your buddy have to find a way to take the base game and make it your own fun little playground, which usually boils down to bullying the fuck out of each other. It's funny how, even when we're meant to be working together, the gamer instinct is to kill whoever we're working with. Like, dude, stop throwing fireballs at me, man, I wanna play the freaking game, dude. Stop! I think the fact that even though sometimes the co-op isn't very refined and doesn't work with the game's story, but it's still really fun, proves that it's not as much about the game, but about who you play it with. Whether that's your brother, your cousin, or your cat, your relationship to the game you're playing is strongly correlated to the memories of all the fucking round that happened due to your own will, not the game telling you to do something. So, what about the games that are made specifically with co-op elements in mind? In Left 4 Dead 2, when a hunter starts clawing your guts out, all you can do is scream, ow, ow, help! Dude, holy shit, help! Because unless that hunter dies by some external means, usually a teammate, you can't do anything but watch. And if you're anything like me, the feeling of watching your friend's back while they watch yours is really weird, because why are you just looking at each other's backs like that? But mainly I think I just like working with people to accomplish one thing, and in Left 4 Dead, that thing is to survive. It is very risky to leave your teammates behind and just speedrun the whole campaign, because it's really easy to get smoked when there's no one around to help you, which is why Valve added the take a break button. Picture this, you're playing Left 4 Dead with your lads and suddenly your mom yells out, dinner's ready, get your bitch ass down here boy. Okay, I don't think she'd say it like that, but your immediate reaction is like, holy freaking frick, I can't leave my boys here, I'll die. So you press the take a break button and the bot takes over until you get back. This is so freaking smart, dude. I wish I could marry Valve. Portal 2 is really fun with and without co-op, and even though the first Portal was just single player, Valve managed to make co-op work in the sequel not just in gameplay but also in story. The single player and co-op story work well in parallel with each other. You can even see the robots in some places of the single player campaign. Granted, one story could work without the other, but at the same time, they don't collide, and on top of that, the gameplay is different, because now you have 4 portals in total, and being able to have 2 players standing in 2 different places opens up the game so much. More importantly, the developers understood that players would have this horrible bloodlusty urge to kill each other, so there are many opportunities to do that. This is gameplay. Saints Row 4 does the exact opposite. Playing co-op or not doesn't affect the story, but it also makes no sense at all, because only one playable character can be in a cutscene at any given time, the game will just use the host character in cutscenes, and sometimes the other player has freedom to roam around while the cutscene is playing, so you can get shit like this to happen. It doesn't make sense, but come on, has the Saints Row series made any sense in the last few years? Yeah, I didn't think so. But this isn't the only example of forced co-op that is less about incorporating it into the story and more of a let's do fun shit together and stab each other in the back cause it's funny and now I'm bleeding, can you please stop stabbing me in the back? Okay! A Way Out is a pretty unique example of how a co-op game can function. It has a pretty linear story where you play as these two goons in split screen, but because you're both playing the game on the same screen, one of you can be uncovering an important part of the story that the other character may not know about. It makes for a pretty interesting narrative. A similar concept is used in It Takes Two, and that won Game of the Year, so you know gamers are thirsting for more co-op. In fact, co-op is so freaking sweet that even if a game doesn't have it on launch, people will find a way to mod it in, because as our primal ancestors used to say, monkey together, strong. Prime example, Swen co-op. Half-Life really wasn't designed for 32 people to be running around its levels, but you can do it and it's really fun. So why should you care about co-op games? Well, I don't know, I'm just a guy sitting here. I'm not some fucking know-it-all, okay? But I do know that co-op games unite us gamers together to accomplish a common goal, and there's great friendships to be made. But it's also just really fun to torture your friends. See ya!